Well, it could be the most hotly contested division in the NFL, Patriots notwithstanding. The AFC East with 3 teams with a win total between 9.5 and 10.5. And we are going to get win total picks and a division winner pick from Lige, who played some ball in that division back in the day, and Danny Kanell. You didn't play in the AFC East at all, did you?
No.
Played in the NFC East many years. Let's start with the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen and company. The win total is set at 10.5, Lige. They've won 11+ each of the last 4 seasons.
I'm going under. When you look at this Buffalo Bills team, the turnover of this team, more specifically on the defensive side, and then at the receiver position, more specifically, when you look at what this team looks like, there's only one receiver that has actually caught a pass from Josh Allen. That's Khalil Shakir. So there's always an acclamation when you're a quarterback, right, in regards to having that continuity with your receivers. Now, I do believe with offensive coordinator Joe Brady, there'll be more 12 personnel, which is 2 tight end sets. They'll run the football, which they did really well with James Cook last year. But my question is Josh Allen, right? This is the first time he won't have a true number 1 receiver. And when you look at the turnovers, number 1 in all the NFL in turnovers, right? And then something that was real telling, DK, that I looked up, when Josh Allen turns the ball over, that next drive usually equates to 3 points per that drive. So let's talk about giving points away to the opponent. And you know this, DK, when you turn the ball over, you have a higher percentage of losing the game. I believe when you look at Josh Allen, I believe he's 9-9 when he has 2+ turnovers in the game. So that'll be the big question mark. Because he doesn't have the true number 1 receiver, because there is a revamped defense, there's going to be more asked of him. And usually when he's put in stress situations, that's when he can turn the football over. So I think Buffalo will be just under that. I think I have them going 10-6, but I'd have them going under 10.5.
He doesn't have that true alpha receiver that he had in Stephon Diggs. He might down the road in Keon Coleman, but Keon Coleman's still a relatively inexperienced receiver. And I think he's going to be good in the long haul, but I think it's going to be a lot to ask of him to carry a lot of that workload. And I would tend to agree with Stephon Diggs, who was on record saying Josh Allen will not be the same quarterback without me until I see it. We've seen the numbers, Josh Allen prior to Stephon Diggs getting there the first 2 years, and then how much they just incrementally went up all of a sudden. And now without him, there is going to be a learning curve there. I do think the Bills also they've been so dominant. They're not going to get the automatic wins against the Jets like they have. I think the Dolphins are going to be better this year, a team they swept last year, and the timing of the calendar when they play them, I think actually does the Bills a disservice when they have to come down week 2. But I look at the stretch of week 4, 5, and 6. Ooh. 3 road games in a row that is an absolute gauntlet. And I think this could be a rough start for the Bills this season. So I'm on the under as well. I think this division will end up being the toughest in the entire NFL, and I think the Bills will be one of the teams that gets into the playoffs but doesn't win the division. So I'm under the 10.5 as well.
Yeah, DK, you mentioned that week 4 through 6 stretch. Week 6, the Jets on Monday Night Football. The Jets, their win total is at 9.5. We're assuming it's going to be a healthy Aaron Rodgers. It's this revamped O-line. They made some moves there, some pieces. And, Lige, you were actually on the last team that had 10 wins for the Jets.
I was.
Back in 2015.
Crazy.
Back in the day.
No.
Crazy.
So, I mean, are you going with the over, the under? Where are you feeling on this team?
I'm going over, and like you said, it all depends on if Aaron can stay healthy, Aaron Rodgers. Now, the biggest question mark besides that is what we were kind of talking about not too long ago, Hassan Reddick, who's asking for a trade. He's such a big part of what they want to do on defense, being the closer. And if you assume that Aaron Rodgers is going to be healthy, the Jets are going to have a lead, and you need your closers to finish out games, and that's Hassan Reddick. But Aaron Rodgers having a revamped offensive line, Garrett Wilson with Aaron Rodgers for a second year. Mike Williams just got called up off the PUP. This is probably the best roster this Jets team has had since probably that 2015 team that I was on. We know they have a championship-type defense. 2 Pro Bowlers up front of the defensive line. 2 Pro Bowlers at the linebacker position. Sauce Gardner, all-pro at the corner position. This defense is stifling and will get after you. I have the Jets going over and winning this division.
Woo! Way to just ruin the surprise at the end of the show. So I'm on the over as well, but I was way more bullish on this team until we heard the news that we just did about Hassan Reddick trying to force this trade. We mentioned, I think they probably figured out, but I wonder if it could be a tough stretch.
Correct.
The other thing that I'm trying to wrap my mind around, because I don't think it's going to be that big a deal because the quarterback play has been so bad. But you mentioned it, Lige, like what if Aaron Rodgers isn't healthy? What if he does, pull some muscle because he's coming off the Achilles and tries to do too much? I don't think you see the return of the MVP Aaron Rodgers. You don't need that. If you can just get the version that gives you, 28 touchdowns, 26 touchdowns, 5 or 6 interceptions, something he's been throughout his entire career, is extremely efficient, I think you'll be just fine. So I've got him going over as well. And then I did look at the end of the schedule, week 14, 15, back-to-back road games at Dolphins, in Jacksonville, a couple road games in Florida, and then, followed in week 17 by the Bills and Dolphins. That's a tough finish. The last game is at home, the last game, week 18.
Yep.
But still, it is a tricky finish to the schedule, and I wonder what type of toll that could take on an entire team that could be taking a pounding at the end of the year.
And we talked to Jonathan Jones last week at Jets camp, and he was talking with some Jets players who said that it's kind of unique with Hassan Reddick because, we'd love to have him, but they know how good they are without him. They were already one of the best defenses in football, so maybe that helps a little bit. The Dolphins also have a win total of 9.5. Danny, they won 11 games last season.
Over. Now, Deuce and I were down there a couple weeks ago at training camp, and I don't know, I felt like you get personally attached to teams. You start talking to some of their players. We talked to Tua, we talked to Tyreek, we talked to Coach McDaniels.
Yeah, it's like when you watch Hard Knocks and you think, oh my God.
Exactly. Start
the Texans are going to be amazing.
I will say this. I love the mentality. I think there's a great team chemistry, a camaraderie where they were all celebrating Tua's new deal. And
Correct.
I really felt like they meant it because they took ownership of the criticism that Tua had taken on. I love the mentality where they did not shy away from the 24-year playoff drought.
Yep.
They did not shy away from the fact they didn't beat many playoff teams last year, 1-6 during the regular season. They've taken ownership of it, addressed it, and I feel they're going to be more equipped, even more so, to handle it this year. So I've got the Dolphins over and the AFC East division winner when it's all said and done.
I like the spiciness. I got them going over as well. As DK mentioned, we were able to spend some time with the Miami Dolphins, and accountability was the big word. I think that's what Tua Tagovailoa was saying. He was like, we know what type of team we've had. We know about the 24-year playoff win drought. We're not running away from it. Even Mike McDaniel spoke about it. He said, we have a chance to be a heroes in this story. Like, this current team wasn't part of that 24-year win drought. Most of these players have only been on this team for the last 2 years. Matter of fact, he said 60% of the team is new from last year, so it's a whole new team. What I can't wait to see is this defense with Anthony Weaver. DK, like you said, we were out there at practice. They are so multiple in what they want to do. Like, they play positionless football on that back end. And Tua Tagovailoa even spoke about that. He was like, some of the looks that we got, he was like, I don't want to share too much. He was like, you were at practice, you saw it. Like, that is something that I can't wait to see. But if you look at the schedule, I actually have the Dolphins winning the first 8 games. It's a very favorable schedule. Wow. Jaguars and Bills at home. They do go to the Seattle Seahawks. Titans at home. Patriots could be a rookie quarterback at the Colts and Cardinals. I got them going 8-0 the first 9 weeks of the season. Now, it gets real the back half. Week 13 through 18 at the Packers on a Thursday night. Jets, Texans, 49ers, Browns, and we know the record of this Miami Dolphins team in cold weather. They go to MetLife at the end of the year. This was the question last year, DK. Could they finish strong? Could they beat playoff-type teams? Can they win in cold weather? Because we saw what happened when they went to the Kansas City Chiefs in negative 30-degree weather. That was ugly. So that's going to be the big question mark because they had a 3-game lead against the Buffalo Bills late in that year, and the Bills walked them down. Tua Tagovailoa, Tyreek Hill, they spoke about this, and Tyreek doubled down and was like, the best teams in football play their best football in November and December. So they're cognizant of that, and they know what's on the schedule.
All right, one team left to talk about in this division. One of these teams is not like the others. The Patriots, 4.5. That's their win total, the lowest in the NFL. It's the Gerard Mayo era there, which is still weird to say that Belichick is not going to be there in New England. Is there any chance they can go over it, or are you guys taking the under?
This is crazy that it's only 4.5. And I'm going under. DK, when you look at this team, it's a total rebuild, right? On the offensive side of the ball, Jacoby Brissett is the starter. We were talking about the rookie quarterbacks earlier, and we didn't even mention Drake May, but when will he eventually be the starter, right? They've mixed up the offensive line, new pass catchers on the outside as well. Now, this defense will be pretty good. They always have been under Gerard Mayo, but this team is going to be led by this defense, but you worry about the offensive production. I just think it's going to be a tall task for the pieces that are going to get mixed between the offensive line line, the pass catchers, right? And if you just look at their roster currently compared to the other teams in the AFC East, there's a lot of talent deficiencies on their roster. So I actually have them going under the 4.5, DK.
I got the exact same thing. And I hate it, but I do think this could be one of the teams battling to be the worst in the NFL. It is a total rebuild. Totally agree with you. Because I did see Gerard Mayo saying Jacoby Brissett's going to be our starter, and the mentality was that Drake May needs this year. I think they're going to be so bad they're worried about Drake May, kind of what happened to Bryce Young last year, where it's a rough year, you're getting beat up, and then all of a sudden people are wondering if you're a bust. I would prefer them to throw out Drake May to the wolves, so to speak. Let him take that beating.
Really?
Let him learn. If you're not ready for that, if you can't take the criticism, then you're probably not built to be a franchise quarterback.
That's true.
But the reps that you would learn out there in a real season, the entire season, would have you more prepared. Because I still think they're going to lose, whether Drake May plays, but they don't have you more prepared to step in and be ready in year 2 the next year you're starting. But I think it's going to be a rough year for the Patriots.
And you guys already told us who you thought would win the division. Danny's going with the Dolphins, the team he grew up cheering for, and Lijay's going for the Jets, one of the teams he played for and the team he cheers for right now. A big surprise from these guys. Although the Bills right now are the odds-on favorites to win it with the highest win total of 10.5. Both the guys think the Bills, though, are going under. They'll start week 1 on CBS against the Cards. Most intriguing game here of these AFC East teams, at least of the games on CBS. Dolphins hosting the Jags. The Patriots are almost double-digit dogs in Cincinnati. And the Jets will play on Monday Night Football in Santa Clara against the 49ers.